where I'm from, you know, I wanted to rep the 305, but I got love for the 619 too, you know, being so close to the border, and I debuted in Tijuana. So I said, hey, let's go to Chicano Park. That's the only place you can do anything if you want to show any love to San Diego.
Oh yeah, K-Diggity Dog putting it down for my peoples. NWO, let's set it off, cause it's on now. Yeah. From La Lucha Libre to the WCW, got not the hit that's straight up loving you. And from the Orale essay to the yes, yo. Who wants to step to my homeboy K-Dog and get slammed on the mat, get your whole head cracked? The way man once last vocals on a filter stone track. I step into the ring yelling Orale, from Mexico all the way to the USA.
On top of that, his lyrics are dope. When you hear a lot of his music, it's with a lot of passion, the stuff that he's lived. And you know, if it's Si Tu Eres Raza, you can definitely understand where he's coming from. And that to me is, you know, the realest music that there is.
Puro chingazos, putazos, no abrazos. Getting scuffed up while food get roughed up. Tequila sunrise, we watch them burn. When we finish off the bottle and we eat the worm, it's our turn. Foreheads, tattoos, and pen 10. From the slums to TV, where the world can see me. Then back to the ghetto again, the world descend. When mothers keep crying, cause the children keep dying. In this hot, evil pot, we all melt. How can I help the world if I can't help myself? So call it quits.
Where does it come from? What inspired you? Live people, you know what I mean, interacting with different people from different forms of life, like say from the lower bracket to the higher bracket, kind of people from the corporate to the street, you know what I mean, all that inspires me, how people, just how people, us as people, how we be tripping, and I'm just a reporter, you know what I mean, I just sit back in the cut and report, you know what I mean, I might tell that person, hey, you know what, if you're full of shit, full of ish, then you're full of ish, you know, you gotta let them know that. And that's the kind of things that inspire me. It's like, you know, they say the best music comes from pain, you know what I mean? The best lyrics come from pain, and they do, you know what I mean? They do. Just growing up like every other Mexicano or Chicano, whatever you wanna label us as, it's just real talk, man, street talk.
Open up my eyes, I can't be living in the dark. I gotta be careful when I take my daughter to the park. Barrio to barrio and block after block. There's hypodermic needles in the children's sandbox. I stop wondering why the block hates me. It always amazes me why they look at me crazy. And there is no hope and there is no second chance, cause this chain around my neck won't let this perro dance. Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay. Latinos Unidos all day, every day. Oh, how I love it, I just can't get enough. Mad, wanted K-Dog, so rough, so tough.
Being held back, you know what I'm saying? That's the main one that just makes you get them.
And you know, I just want to reflect on that because I felt it in wrestling. I definitely see it in music. You know, wrestling is basically, you know, in a monopoly right now. Before it was what they call it, oligopoly. It was just basically two companies. And you know, if you look at the representation of African Americans and Latinos and even Asians, which is a huge growing sector, you know, now in California, it wasn't equally represented in the wrestling. And you could see how the Latinos were held back little by little systematically, how the African Americans were held back through politics. It's subtle, you know, you just can't come out because you'll get sued. And I see a direct correlation, you know what I'm saying, in music, you know, and I've talked to Mad One about this. You know, like I remember Kid Frost used to always go, oh, I hung out with E40 and I hung out with Ice-T, then why ain't they putting you on? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's just like, I see that, you know, Puff Daddy, yeah, you know, he'll date J-Lo and he'll talk about, you know, Papa Dada and all this Spanish stuff, you know, but you never see him putting any Latino rappers on, you know?
I carry my life around with me in a see-through bag, and
I don't know what's going on. The bottom line is, you know, we're being held back. You know, in the hip hop, when it first began, you know, the first DJs, the first breakdancers, a lot of them were Boricuas. You know, you never see any of them rapping now on the West Coast. You know, you got a lot of people, you know, they stealing the Mexican stilo from the Lolos to the khakis, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But nobody can get a record deal.
I snatch some out your pocket and smoke it. Do you really wanna put the barrel down with a skeleton playing on a cello from the ghetto? 187 if you don't spin the vinyl. Revolutionary mind, but they label me a wino. Someone please unchain my brain from the wall. You can blame it on the truth.
You know, we're being held back. You know, Mad One would tell me how he would go to concerts, you know, all black concerts, and, you know, they would hate on him, you know what I'm saying? And I felt that too, not too long ago, something I did with him. And it's just funny because it's like, you know, now the kind of like the blacks are doing to us what the whites did to them. So until a Mexican or un Latino gets a hold of his own company, like P. Diddy did or Master P, we may never really be put up. You know what I'm saying? And that's sad because I've seen him held back. He's as good as anybody out there. And right now, you know, wrestling is the same as music. It's the same as anything. Right now, really, it's not how good you are. It's who you know. If you ain't plugged in, you ain't gonna get no deal. Bottom line.
Uno nueve cero to the cuatro. It's the M-A-D-O-N-E going psycho. Uno nueve cero to the cuatro. It's the M-A-D-O-N-E going psycho. How many lyrical paragraphs must I put you in dent in order for a fool to make his dollars in a cents? Politics and presidents, why that? Because they got me selling to my local residents. Wise crack, fill my mind every time I write a rhyme. I got to release the pressure and take drastic measures. I'm standing on the outside and I'm looking in, watching all my friends, not confessing on my sins. Smiling the pen, smiling faces will have you catching cases, flying down the freeway on high-speed chases. I gotta be true to this game of rap. It's either that's or it's like that.
They bring me a beat, and you know, I'll try to kill it the way I put the Mad One thing to it. You know what I mean? I don't categorize it, certain limit myself, say my style of music is this, or I bust like this, or I just do this kind of in this realm. I just try to go there. You know what I mean? You put me with different producers, and I'll go there with them. You know what I mean? Everything's, like you said, the chemistry. It's all about the chemistry when it comes to music and the feel and the vibe. And that's about it, the vibe, man.
Lawyers, paperwork, and A&R, fancy cars, ghetto superstars, don't forget who you are. I still represent those buried in the soil. Uncle Sam is Gaddis, hitting up the foil. Ashes to ashes and back to dust. And before I go, fool, believe I'm a bust. Ashes to ashes and back to dust. And before I go, fool, believe I'm a bust. Uno nueve cero to the cuatro. It's the M-A-D-O-N-E going psycho. Uno nueve cero to the cuatro. It's the M-A-D-O-N-E going psycho. I must confess, my life is a mess.
Oh, in other words, music, and in the music terms, when I first got addicted was, I used to break dance, huh? And everybody did it, huh? You know how the Mexicans always pop. You know, I used to get down, I used to get my break on, and I got hooked then. That was it. That was before rap came out, but that all comes from the same place. And from that point on, that's what made me right there. I was addicted, and growing up hearing people like Rakim and people like, you know, just different people that just put it down. Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5, you know, the homeboys always bust that old school.
And if there's a God up in heaven, does he hate me cause I don't feel blessed? I extend my hand from San Diego to New York. Call all your soldiers cause it's street we hold court. Welcome to the blood sport, the killing feels a rap. Now how will you react when leaving the stains across the map? Cause the road that I'm on is too bumpy. And every time I see a hooter, I get jumpy. So I keep my and make sure they play it loud. Before I'm left laying on my back, staring at the clouds. Or facing the dirt on my way to meet my maker. Cause bottles catch the vapors when I'm trying to make my paper. Ashes to ashes and back to dust. And before I go, fool, believe I'm a bust.
Hey, look, man, there's something like